Hello and welcome to the Here We Grow Show, a show specifically designed to bring together community leaders making a difference and share financial strategies so you can plan for and live the retirement lifestyle you've always dreamed. Your host is Amazon bestselling author, president, and founder of Foguth Financial Group, Michael Foguth.
Hi, I'm Michael Foguth. I believe in educating you about information that matters to you and your retirement. Join me this week and every week as we welcome today's leaders in our community, as well as experts in the field of finance and retirement to discuss topics that matter to you today. These discussions can help you make better financial decisions so you can plan for and live the retirement of your dreams. All right, folks. Well, thanks again for tuning into this week's show of the Here We Grow radio show. I am excited because, I say this, most of the weeks, but we really do have a national celebrity with us today. Somebody that, I know out there in radio land you can't see, but if you saw the face right now, very recognizable. We're going to talk a little bit about that here in a minute, but I am excited because this is a guest that my kids are excited about because we are huge Ninja Warrior fans in our house, dating back to when it really, I don't know, the craze has been around. You can help me with this here in a minute, but it's been around for a while. And this is something that you've really, have been able to expand upon. So without further ado, folks, I am excited. My kids are excited. We have Mrs. Tegan Roobol with, again, I guess you were on the premiere of Ninja Warrior, just a fraction of what we're going to talk about today. So I want everybody out there and that's listening right now to understand that you can listen to this and show in its entirety. If you want to go back and listen to it again, it's going to be on all the major podcast platforms. So folks out there listening, make sure you catch this whole show because it's going to be an exciting one. And with that being said, Tegan, tell me about, and the listeners out there about, and let's start with this, the American Ninja Warrior experience that you had and what that was like.
Okay. Well, thanks for having me. First off, I'm excited to be here and have this opportunity to talk. Part of being this show was really, really cool. And not at all traditional this year. Very, very different. I'll start back with when I first got the call to be on American Ninja Warrior because we applied back in December and then it goes radio silence. You have no idea. And there's 70,000 applicants and they select about 600. So, my odds of getting on were pretty small in the first place. And so then when I got the call in February, I was elated, but I was also really disheartened because I was literally driving home from the orthopedic surgeon's office because I had torn my calf the week before at National Ninja Finals.
Oh my goodness.
So I was like, I can't compete in 4 weeks in DC. Like there's no way. But who knew that the world was going to shut down? We were quarantined just like everyone else. And luckily, I'm a physical therapist, so I was able to advance my own rehab, and I worked really hard during quarantine to get my calf competition ready, and then also trying to keep up my ninja skills in case we got the call that the show was starting back up. And that's, just in my basement in my barn working because the gyms were all shut down.
Yeah.
So
that's a crazy time. So I got to make sure everybody hears that. So you were literally driving home from were you finding out that your calf was torn and then you get the call like, hey, congratulations. And you're like,
yeah.
Oh.
On the drive home. So I'm like, awesome.
So this is next year, right? Yeah, it's next year.
Yeah. They were going to let me push it back another 4 or 6 weeks to film in St. Louis instead of DC. So I'm like, okay, maybe I can be ready in 8 weeks from now, but I don't know. That was a big wild card. And then things shut down and it's like, the season's still going to happen. It'll happen. You'll get a chance to run. And then nothing and nothing and nothing. And then eventually you hear, oh, they're doing a modified season this year. They're bringing 100, 150 people out. It's going to be fan favorites. So I wrote that off like, okay, we're done. Maybe next year. And then the next day I got a call saying, we want you in St. Louis.
Really?
So that was in June. We got a call saying, we want you in St. Louis in 4 weeks. Can you block off a 2-week period for taping? It's like 2 weeks. Hun, you got the kids for 2 weeks? You good with that? So So it's like, I was terrified at the idea of traveling during a pandemic.
Yes.
But on the other hand, I'm like, I can't turn up this opportunity. Like,
Yeah.
if they think it's safe to do it and they've got safety protocols in place, like, I can't turn this down. Um, and we were sworn to secrecy, so we couldn't tell anyone because they didn't know if filming was going to get shut down or what was going to happen, because there were so
Wow.
many wild cards. Normally you get the call and you can say, oh my god, I got selected for American Ninja Warrior, and people know. But this was like, you cannot tell anyone. If you get told, or like if you tell and we find out, you will just,
You're off the
you're
show
not coming.
probably, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
And no family, no friends were allowed to come. It was just the competitors. It's, COVID testing before you go, COVID testing as soon as you land. We've all got our own hotel rooms. Don't hang out with people. You're in isolation. Like,
Wow.
it was a lot of sitting around and waiting. So I watched a lot of movies. I read a lot of books. I had downloaded podcasts.
Were you able to like train? I mean, there was a 2 week. I mean, were you able to do anything in the hotel or to stay
we
active or?
I worked out in my hotel room. So literally I'm
Wow.
doing sit-ups, push-ups, jumping jacks in my hotel room, doing pull-ups on the door frames. Um, and so,
How was the calf then in June?
I was nervous about it, but I was able to get into PT for 3 sessions prior to leaving for the competition. And they specialize in orthopedics. I specialize in pediatrics. So
Okay.
they were like, your calf is good. It's healed. You can do this. And they were pushing me to do these exercises. And I'm like, oh my God, are you serious? Like, I'm going to re-tear my calf right now doing this, but okay, I will trust you.
Uh-huh.
And it held up and it was good. And they're like, you got this, you're good to go. And so I just kind of had to push the fear aside. And I mean, I still have fear because I tore my other calf 3 years ago.
Okay.
So I have a calf thing, and but I just had to push the fear aside, and they're like, you're good to go, you can do this. So it was healed, not full strength, but I was cleared to do everything. The orthopedic surgeon said you're good to go. So I was fortunate that I didn't need surgery, because otherwise I definitely would not have been good to go.
Right.
But yes, so working out in the room. I mean, we went and hung out in small groups outside. Like, we went to see the arch. They gave
Yeah, oh
me
yeah, that's in
we were
St. Louis,
there.
sure. You
Mhm.
have to do that.
But otherwise, it was, we're staying in our room. And then when we actually did filming, we did a couple of days of like B-roll filming, and I literally sat in a room where chairs were spaced a good 10 feet apart with 20 competitors. We're all wearing masks. We're told, don't get up unless you need to pee or go get food.
Wow.
If you need food, don't touch anything, ask, we'll hand it to you. And we'll call you back when we're ready. And so the safety protocols were there, and people were talking, but it was, not your milling around and stuff.
No.
And so I'd sit there for 8-10 hour days for 30 minutes of interviewing, or 30 minutes of hero shots where you're standing and posing.
Yeah.
Um,
Hey folks, that's the non-glamorous side of the show. And it's so crazy to hear that, because as you're talking through that, I'm thinking of myself of when, I watched the show because my kids are huge fans. Like, we even had a birthday party. My one daughter had a birthday party at one of the ninja
mhm.
local gyms here. Like, we just had t-shirts made up and
Yeah.
fort wall and all that, like, so I
Yeah.
mean, huge stuff. But and I'm thinking as you're talking through this, I was like,
Yeah.
wait, you're right, because it's kind of like in the radio world, like people, and again, I don't want to let the cat out of the bag, but sometimes these aren't live interviews, right? And
Right.
so there's things that, are perception versus reality on TV. And that's
Yeah.
crazy to think 8 hours of sitting there for,
Yeah. For
wow.
30
Listen,
minutes
I,
of
I,
filming.
I want to get the story, but I'm going to save the audience for suspense. And we're going to close the
Okay.
show with your actual run.
Okay.
I want to tell the people right now, because I think this is huge, and pardon me for saying this, but I think what you're doing outside of Ninja Warrior is a lot bigger and a lot cooler, because talk about an impact in people's lives is just phenomenal. And I want you to tell people they're listening right now, kind of, and again, maybe it's what got you started, but what you're doing right now with helping the pediatrics, right? The kids of the world. And that's where my heart is. So I love that. I'm a dad of 6. I mean, kids are like, that's my heart. So I know you're doing a lot of cool things.
Mhm.
Tell the people to watch the YouTube videos. Like, it's awesome stuff out there, but tell everybody out there listening right now about what your day to day, your your normal life is like, and how you're making that impact with folks out there and the kids out there with the impairments, physical and mental, really in Ninja Warrior tying in.
So yeah, my day to day, I mean, I'm a mom of two, so that's first and foremost. But then I'm a physical therapist in the school systems. Most of my time is spent in a center-based program with kids that have severe multiple impairments. So they don't walk for the most part, they don't talk. Got some pretty serious cognitive impairments, physical impairments. I also do work out in a school district with the kids that are more accessing gen ed and they have more mild disabilities, helping them with higher level gross motor skills. And so I merged my career as a physical therapist and all these students that I work with my Ninja Warrior passion, and have created an adaptive ninja program. So I have been working with children that have disabilities, bringing these opportunities to them so that they are in the Ninja Warrior gyms participating in classes of their own.
And I think that that's a big one. So look, I want to take a really short break. I want to come back because there's a couple of things, and folks out there listening, don't go anywhere, because I promise we will conclude the show before it's over of the actual experience on the show and how that went. But I want to, when we come back from break, dive in really deep with that what the kids are able to do with the Ninja Warrior stuff. So folks, don't go anywhere on the Here We Grow radio show. We will be right back. And again, we have Tegan Roobol, who is the local national celebrity with what she's doing in our community and what she's done on TV. So don't go anywhere. We will be right back. All right, folks. Well, thanks for sticking with us here on the Here We Grow radio show. Just prior to the break, we were talking with Tegan about her experience and again, the non-glamorous side of TV, but we also were talking about the impact that you are making on our local community and those that are really, making a difference on a day-to-day with what's going on in our school district and around our area. So let's jump back into that, because I think it's really cool about what, the things that, we see on TV, the Ninja Warrior, we see even like the CrossFit games and things like that, where these, super buff, athletes are out there, climbing things. And I'm watching this on TV, like, geez, like that's amazing to be able to do those things. But talk to us about how you are impacting the physical and the mental impairments and how you got them involved in Ninja Warrior, if you will.
Well, so the idea started when I was training at a local ninja gym. I ran into the sister of one of my students, and I thought, wouldn't it be cool if Lauren could be at the gym too, experiencing the bright lights, all the noise, the hustle and bustle of the kids running around, or better yet, how could I get her to participate? And so Lauren has lissencephaly, which is a rare brain disorder. It's caused severe impairments in cognition and her physical abilities. She relies on others for every aspect of her daily care. So it's like, without really knowing what it would look like, I approached her family saying, what do you think about trying to adapt some of this ninja training for Lauren? And they said, yeah, let's do it. So it was actually a different kid that first started with me, but Lauren also participates. But the first session was a huge success. It was awesome. And news of the program spread, not just to my students and families, but to other families in the area, saying, hey, we have a friend whose kid is blah, 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 could they do this? And so the interest just kept growing and growing. And so I recruited more volunteers, more coaches to expand the program. And then in June of last year, I officially made it a nonprofit organization. So that's new to me. I'm just learning as I go and taking it a day at a time. But the interest, just keeps growing, and we're limited by, volunteers and time, because everybody that's helping out works full time. Our parents, as well. And so it's just, we've got over 30 ninjas that have been involved with the program so far. We've had a couple of classrooms from my center-based program take field trips there. And so it's been really, really cool. And we started with a class that I call my Ninja Adaptive class, and that's for the kids that have the really severe impairments. And so they've got a one-on-one coach the whole time. And we've, made some of our own obstacles. We've adapted some that are at the gym. They're working on a pegboard. They've got platform swings. They're zipping down a pipe slider, but supported by a cocoon swing. we made a little portable salmon ladder so that they can do that while they're sitting.
That's cool.
And so we do a lot with scooters. With them not being ambulatory, we can transition between obstacles, using scooter boards and that sort of thing. And so then from there, one of the PTs that I got involved works in the school systems as well, but with higher functioning kids, like who I service in Fowlerville. We thought, let's create a program for them as well. So that's our Rockstar class. We've got higher level kids there that can participate in a small group setting. They're able to walk on their own and follow some directions, but they need more assistance than what would be feasible in a standard ninja class. So we recently just expanded to a second gym, having our rock stars are in Howell at Iron Grip Ninja, and our Ninja Adaptive Ninjas are still at the original gym that we've been working out of, Tri-County Ninja in Fenton. So it's really exciting to be growing the program and getting into more gyms.
Absolutely. And so, I think that it's important that people out there that are listening right now are probably like a lot of the students that have joined your programs. How do they learn more about this? Or maybe it's them directly that they know somebody, or indirectly, or how do they get involved or learn a little bit more about the awesome work that you and your team are doing over there?
Well, we're on Facebook at Overcoming Obstacles, Adaptive Ninja and Climbing. Our Instagram handle is Adaptive Ninja Climbing. We've also got a website, adaptiveninjaclimbing.org.
Okay.
So the Facebook and our website would have the contact information. Our email is info@adaptiveninjaclimbing.org. So
and I know that you're not stopping with the local program, correct? I mean, I know that you're talking about, an LLC and doing some of these other certification stuff. Tell everybody out there listening right now, because again, it's local, national. I mean, tell me about what this looks like in your eyes, big picture here.
Right now it is just local. And especially since this show, I've been having people say, like, do you have a program in Pennsylvania? Do you have one in Colorado? How about California? And it's like, we're literally just me right now. Wow, it got really bright. And so my goal is to have it nationwide and to make these opportunities available to others. I mean, the barrier is that we don't have people that are used to working with kids who have special needs. And so I am working on a training certification so that other gyms can take this, this training that I'm offering and learn about the special needs population and what sort of equipment is useful and how you can adapt different activities so that they can then feel comfortable, holding the classes similar to what we're doing here.
I think that I'm just thinking, so, prepping for this, I watched a YouTube video that you guys have, and I mean, I was just smiling ear to ear because the kids that you were working with were smiling ear to ear, and just to be able to say, okay, not only are we doing that here in Fenton and in Brighton and Howell and in Livingston and Genesee County, but now all of a sudden we got a team in Pennsylvania putting smiles on, and in California, next thing you know, we're in all 50 states. And because it is the certification and the training, because everybody should be able to participate in this, and it's awesome. I mean, it is sweeping the nation. And so I want to wrap things up here today, telling everybody about your experience after those weeks of shooting in St. Louis. Walk us through what it was like to actually, when it was your turn and the horn goes off to make your run. What was that like?
Well, so again, a lot of waiting the day of. And then they had small groups going back into the filming area at a time. There were only 9 at a time that were going back. And honestly, my nerves were a lot less the day of than they had been for the month leading up to it. I don't know if it was just I was ready, or if I'd gotten all the nerves out, or I was too stunned and hyped up on adrenaline for me to feel the nerves. But when it was my turn, I was really focused and thinking, I just really want to get through that first obstacle. Like, please don't let me fall on the first obstacle. And then you're standing up on the stage and the bright lights are there. And I'm like, I can barely see the first step. It's blinding. It's so bright that it's like, oh my God, it'll be a miracle if I get through this first obstacle. And so once I did that, I felt good. And I was just in my game doing the course. Obviously, I would have liked to make it further than the third obstacle, but hopefully I have another shot at it in a future year. But it was just really cool to be there and to be walking among all these people that you see on TV. They've been on TV for years and years and years. And now suddenly, like, I'm just walking with them as one of them, you know, not like an outsider looking at them, but like, oh, I'm one of the ninjas here that's competing. Like, this is kind of crazy. This is cool.
That's awesome. You know, and you're right. It's kind of like in a lot of things in life, there's sometimes we get do-overs, right? It's like, oh yeah, I screwed up on that, on that shot in basketball. I can take another one. Or, I may have missed that promotion this year, but I'll get it again next year, right? Not so much in the Ninja Warrior course, right?
So people are always asking, like, so did you get a practice run before you're out there on the course, or did you get to try it again afterwards? Like, no, you don't. Like, that you step up there, you do your run, you fall, you're done. You don't get any practice runs, you don't get any do-overs. And one thing that you asked in this question is, what are you thinking before the horn goes off? There is no horn. You know, the beep, 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 beep that you hear, that is post-production. So you're standing up there and they're like, okay, you can go.
Just go whenever you want.
So you're like,
wait, I saw on TV a horn.
There we go. Yeah, but there's no sound leading up to it.
Wow.
And then people were asking me about the announcers. So Matt and Akbar were there, but I'm like, I honestly did not see them or hear them at all while I was on the course. Like, I was just tuned out, I guess.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's so cool. And, folks, I'm telling you what, for those of you out there that are listening, make sure you go to Facebook, you go to Instagram, go to the website, heck, even go to YouTube, because it is so inspiring. And for those of you that out there that may know somebody that could participate in the great things that you're doing, sharing, and maybe they're not in Michigan anymore, which is so awesome, Tegan, that you're doing this, is share this with somebody that's in California, because it's coming, and you're in the great work that you're doing. So thank you so much. I wish we can continue to talk for another half an hour here, but I know people will be reaching out to you if they're not already doing so already, asking for autographs and all the hard work and stuff that you're doing. Keep it up. And thank you so much for all that you're doing.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Here We Grow Show. To learn more about how we can help you and to get access to the resources mentioned on today's show, visit herewegrowshow.com. Also, don't forget to leave us a review on iTunes. Your reviews are the ways we reach more and more people each and every week. If you found today's episode helpful, you can bet there are others out there that would benefit from listening. Thanks again for taking the time to listen. Be sure to subscribe to easily access future and past episodes. Make sure to tune in next week for another great episode of the Here We Grow Show.
Investment advisory services offered through Grossman Capital Management, LLC, BCM, a registered investment advisor. BCM and Foguth Financial are independent of each other. Insurance products and services are not offered through BCM, but are offered and sold through individually licensed and appointed agents.